Hey everybody, Lauren and Dan here from our hometown of Puerto Vallarta. When we first moved here about a year ago, we didn't have a car. We walked, we took the bus, and we Ubered pretty much everywhere.
And when we finally bought our Bronco, lots of people told us we were crazy. They said that driving here was too chaotic, but after decades of driving regularly in cities like Chicago, LA, New York, and where we used to live in Cincinnati,
we've realized something shocking. We actually love driving here more than anywhere else that we've been in the world. Today, we're showing you why, along with some of the local unwritten rules of the road that you might experience here in Puerto Vallarta. Now, we aren't new to city driving here in Mexico or elsewhere. We've driven previously through Tijuana, navigated through Mexico City, Guadalajara, and then of course we've collectively probably spent years stuck in US traffic in most of the cities that Lauren mentioned. North of the border though, we've seen it all. Tailgaters, lots of people flipping the bird, laying on the horn, and unfortunately on occasion, even some scary road rage incidents have happened.
But driving in Mexico, especially Puerto Vallarta, is different. Before we get into the why, you have to understand the PV nuances that scare some from wanting to get behind the wheel.
For instance, the left turn trap. On the main drag of the 200, if you want to turn left, you actually have to pull into the right lateral lanes. Now, this feels counterintuitive at first, but it keeps the through-town traffic moving perfectly. And if you happen to be already sitting waiting in a turn lane and another vehicle pulls in ahead of you, just let them. They're not trying to cut you off, they're trying not to block the next lane. And if someone is at the light next to you in a lane that you might not think is designated for turning, don't be surprised if they happen to turn right next to you. Just pay attention and roll with it.
Paying attention is the biggest part.
How about motorcycles? In some places, lane splitting by motorcycles or bikes feels aggressive. Here, it's just the flow. You learn to keep an eye out for the bikes. They aren't being rude, they're just being efficient with their time. Now, this is common in so much of the world, but if you come from a place where motorcycles are expected to behave like other vehicles when it comes to lane usage or passing, you have to adjust your understanding here, not the biker. If an auto is involved with an accident with a motorbike here in PV, we've been told it's automatically the auto driver's fault. So give them room and don't be bothered when they squeeze past you.
In the side streets and local neighborhoods, signs can sometimes be rare. You'll usually see the one on one flow. One car goes, then one from cross street goes. It goes like silent handshakes between drivers. But don't assume, never assert, the "it's my turn" attitude, because some streets and some drivers aren't expected to automatically just stop. So be patient, and eventually you'll learn which intersections are expected to pass through, and which ones you want to keep your head on a swivel and wait for it all to be clear.
The infamous topes, the speed bumps. Some are marked, but some can come up on you quickly and be surprise launches. So you really learn to scan the road ahead of you like a pro.
Unless you enjoy the Dukes of Hazzard.
So with all of these local driving quirks, why do we love it? It boils down to one word: respect.
Coming from the US, we're used to NASCAR driving culture. People blocking lanes or boxing you out when you're trying to merge, honking the second a light turns green, even coffee being thrown out the window at our other drivers.
In a year here, the only person who's ever honked at us was a confused tourist leaving the airport rental car center. Clearly, they were from another country. In PV, if a bus or a taxi needs to merge, you let them. And guess what? People here, they wave back. If you miss a signal change, you might get a polite nudge beep from them, but not the blaring siren of rage from someone laying on their horn. Even as a pedestrian, often drivers will stop. They'll make eye contact with you. They'll flash their lights, hit their hazards, or just give a polite wave to let you cross the road.
Driving here isn't about following a strict rule book. It's about participating in a polite culture. It makes the freedom of having a car actually feel like freedom and not a stress test.
If you're thinking about moving here or just visiting and renting a car, don't listen to the crazy driver comments. Just learn the local rhythm, watch out for those topes, and enjoy the ride. We love driving here because we love the polite respect that people in Mexico show one another.
Thanks for watching, and if you have a only in Mexico driving story, drop it in the comments, and be sure to hit subscribe to see more videos on what we love about living here. We'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.